Good morning, friends. Welcome to Empty Cloud Monastery. I'm here with Bhante Sumitta, and we are, I don't know why it displays on your, it says Ayasoma on Bhante Sumitta's screen, but it's actually Bhante Sumitta. There's a little technological hiccup. But Bhante Sumitta today will be starting his first of the 3 classes on dependent origination, since here at Empty Cloud this September we have been focusing on Paticca Samuppada. So without further ado, I'll pass it on to Bhante so we can start the teachings. Thank you, Bhante.
Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Sadhang Mang Munirajasa Sunantu Sagga Mukhadang Dhamma Savana Kalo Ayang Bhadanta Dhamma Savana Kalo Ayang Bhadanta Dhamma Savana Kalo Ayang Bhadanta. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Katamocha bhikkhave paticca samuppado avijja paccaya bhikkhave sankhara sankhara paccaya viññānaṁ viññāna paccaya nāmarūpaṁ nāmarūpa paccaya salayatanaṁ Salayatana paccaya phasso phassa paccaya vedana vedana paccaya tanha tanha paccaya upadanam upadana paccaya bhavo bhava paccaya jati jati paccaya jara maranam Soka parideva dukkha domanasu payasa sangbhavanti evame tassa kevalassa dukkha khandassa samudayo hoti. My utmost respect to the perfectly enlightened Samma Sambuddha, the noble doctrine of the Buddha, and the noble Mahasangha, the disciples of the Buddha. Dear Dhamma friends, today we are going to start the series of Dhamma talks on this very profound teaching called Paticca Samuppada, dependent origination or dependent arising. First of all, I would like to say that this Dhamma talk series maybe would instill in you some very profound understanding, maybe a wonderful call to you. Where should we be leading to? And also maybe just a few words out of any of these Dhamma talks can also be leading you to the Nibbana, Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahanta. So my pure intention is to open the Dhamma Chakku, the eye of the Dhamma, or the Dhamma door, the door of the Dhamma to all of you. Having said that, I also would like to say it's quite a challenge to all of us, because this is the most profound Dhamma, and all of the teachings of the Buddha Dhamma, the entire Buddha Dhamma. The Buddha said, yo paticca samuppadang janati, so dhammang janati. So paticca samuppadang passati, so dhammang passati. So dhammang passati, so paticca samuppadang passati. If someone sees the paticca samuppada, he or she sees the Dhamma. If someone sees the Dhamma, he or she sees the paticca samuppada. So without that, the entire Buddha Dhamma will not be complete. So it's really important. And then again, only a person who has attained Sotapanna would be able to really see what it is all about. And even then, it is said, when one time Venerable Ananda said to the Buddha, Venerable Ananda was already a Sotapanna monk. Even then, he thought Paticca Samuppada is easier to understand. And then the Buddha said, don't say Ananda. It is so profound. It is so deep. You can't even think of it. So only the Arhanta person, the perfectly enlightened Samma Sambuddha, or the Pacceka Buddha, they would be able to understand this one in much more profound sense. So it is already opening up the doors, yes, but it is already always challenging. I would like to say, as I always do, Paticca Samuppada is a word that we find in 510 times. I think there should be there are a lot of books that talks about the Paticca Samuppada. Different variations are there in this, and there are so many books that talk about Paticca Samuppada. Visuddhimagga Maha Tika mentions this Paticca Samuppada 52 times. Visuddhimagga Dutiya Bhaga 42 times. And then Udana Attakatha, Nidana Vagga, Mahavagga Attakatha, Nidana Vagga Tika, Petakopadesa, and so many other number of books. We have a profound discussion on this profound teaching. And many people, many even monks, would like to talk about other topics, not about the Paticca Samuppada. It is kind of scary. It is intimidating, actually, like to talk about the Paticca Samuppada, so because it is so profound. And I think in one of my earlier Dhamma talks in Anupubbi Katha series, I started with the story of Upatissa Kolita story. When Upatissa was later Venerable Sariputta, and Kolita was later Venerable Mahamoggallana. So when Upatissa was walking alone, searching for the Dhamma, he saw Venerable Assaji. Venerable Assaji is one of the 5 disciples of the Panchavaggiya Bhikkhu, the youngest one. Kondanya Vappa Bhaddiya Mahanama Assaji. Assaji was the last one. And Venerable Assaji was walking for an alms round, and then he was encountered by Upatissa. Upatissa was also searching for the Dhamma, and the minute he saw Venerable Assaji, he saw something. He saw this monk either has attained the Dhamma that he is searching for, or he is on his way to attain the Dhamma that he is searching for. So he followed him. He didn't want to disturb the Venerable Assaji because he was an arms round. And then the Venerable Assaji, he took the alms bowl. He went under a tree. He had his arms. After that, Venerable Assaji was done. Then Upatissa reached out to him, paid respect to him, and asked about the Dhamma. And there, Venerable Assaji said, I am new to this Dhamma. I am not a profound teacher of this Dhamma. I can only say something in a nutshell, a little bit. Then Upatissa said, I'm happy to hear the precise, brief version of the Dhamma. I can understand in detail. It is true. Venerable Sariputta, later on we know how powerful he was, how profound his Dhamma understanding was, and he was one of those most powerful monks, wisest among the Bhikkhu Sangha, that he could teach the Dhamma in so much detail. So Venerable Assaji said one stanza, Ye Dhamma hetu pabhava, tesang hetu tathagato aha, ye sanchayo nirodo, evang vadi mahasamano. So I learned the Dhamma, I practiced the Dhamma, I realized the Dhamma of that liberated one, the enlightened one, who talks about ye Dhamma hetu pabhava. That means arising. If something is subject to arise, tesang hetu tathagato aha. Those tathagatas, they talked about the cessation of those dhammas. Something is subject to arise, that dhamma is subject to cease. So, having heard the first two lines of this stanza, whenever Upatissa already attained Sotapanna. He opened his Dhamma eye. He was already just about to be bloomed. It was just a matter of something that he needed, and someone had to open the door for him. And Venerable Assaji opened the door him, and he saw the Dhamma immediately. And Venerable Moggallana, he saw the Dhamma when he also became Sotapanna when he heard the entire 4-line stanza. How many times we have learned this? How many times we have listened to this? But we are still not ready to open up. We are still not ready to blossom. So it is really important that maybe every time we read it, there might be a chance somewhere, somehow, we would be able to open our Dhamma door. I'm very happy to say that in this temple, Empty Cloud Buddhist Monastery, we chant this sutta. I brought it here today, Kaccanagutta Sutta, right? Everyone is more familiar with this sutta, Kaccanagutta Sutta. So in this Kaccanagutta Sutta, again, Samyutta Nikaya 12:15, we talk about the Paticca Samuppada. You never know, like when you read this sutta and immediately after that you practice for 1 hour something, meditation. If you reflect on this sutta, the teaching of this sutta, there can be an opening for you. There can be a chance for you to open your Dhamma eye. Dhamma Chakkung can be opened. When the Buddha preached the first Dhamma talk, that is Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Remember, only one monk was able to open his Dhamma eye. Who was that? Kondanya, yes, only Kondanya. That was the only human being who could open his Dhamma eye. And there were many hundreds and thousands of Devas and Brahmas. Yes, they also could open their Dhamma eye. So it is really important that we listen to these Dhamma talks, we learn these Dhamma talks, and we need to have the map. As Ajahn Brahm said, we need to have a map. And without map, we can't go for our journey in the right direction. So, having said, I also would like to say the Buddha, in one of his, immediately after the arising enlightenment at the Buddha Gaya, under the Bodhi tree, then after 7 days, he was reflecting on this Paticca Samuppada. He was reflecting on Paticca Samuppada. It is said Anuloma and Patiloma. Anuloma means ascending, Patiloma means descending. So descending and ascending and descending order, like the reverse order and the gradual order, he was reflecting on the Paticca Samuppada. And the first watch of the night, the Buddha was reflecting on the Anuloma Patipada, that is ascending order. Avidya Pachya Sankhara, Sankhara Pachya Vijnanam, Vijnana Pachya Namarupam, Namarupa Pachya Salayatanam, Salayatana Pachya Phaso, Phasa Pachya Vedana, Vedana Pachya Tanha, Tanha Pachya Upadanam, Upadana Pachya Bhavo, Bhava Pachya Jati, Jati Pachya Jara, Maranam Soka Parideva Dukkha Domanatsu Payasa Sambhavanti. Evametasa kevalasa dukkha khandasa samudaya hoti. So these 12 links are really important. And the entire mass of suffering starts like this, one after another. They are mutually helpful, linked to each other. And the one who sees that was the perfectly enlightened Samma Sambuddha. In another sutta that we are more familiar here, the chanting of that is said Dhamma Niyamata Sutta, right? In Dhamma Niyamata Sutta, it is said Tathagatanang va upada, what do you call, upadaya or not, like upadava bhikkhave tathagatanang anupadava tathagatanang tithavasa dhatu dhamma thitata dhamma niyamata. So whether the Buddhas are born here in this world or not, whether there is the arising of the Tathagata or not, this property stands. This steadfastness of the Dhamma, Dhamma Niyamata, Dhamma Thitata, this orderliness of the Dhamma, all processes are still there. So the Buddha was there to realize this, self-enlighten, and he was the one who could even teach for the benefit of all of us. And then all the other Arahanta followers, they could also realize the Dhamma for sure, yes. So maybe thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, millions of those monks have followed the Dhamma, and they realized the Dhamma. They have understood the Paticca Samuppada. But with the help of the Buddha only, they could do it. Pacceka Buddhas also could do it, but they would not be able to teach them the Dhamma, to open the eyes of the Dhamma of the other people. So only the perfectly enlightened Samma Sambuddha had that all-inclusive power to help us open the door of the Dhamma. So this is again a really important fact. So at the first watch of the night, the Buddha was looking at the Dhamma, and he saw that Anuloma Naya. And in the second watch of the night, he was looking at the other side of that. That is the Patiloma Naya. That is it is said the other way around. How do we go for it? Okay, over here, Upajjanti, and then in the sutta it is said, where is that? Okay. Yeah. So so in the second watch of the night, the Buddha says, एवमेतस्य दुःख केवलस्य दुःखस्कन्धस्य समुदयो होति अयं उच्यते भिक्खवे पटिच्च समुप्पादो then avidyayatvev asesa viraga nirodha sankhara nirodho. So avidyayatu eva asesa viraga nirodho, and complete cessation of this ignorance. Then sankhara nirodha, then sankhara nirodha vijnana nirodha. When the avidya is ceased, the sankhara will be ceased, and when the sankhara is ceased, vijnana will be ceased, and when vijnana is ceased, namarupa will be ceased. When namarupa will be ceased, salayatana will be ceased. When salayatana is ceased, phassa will be ceased, and when the phassa is ceased, vedana will be ceased. When vedana is ceased, tanha is ceased. When tanha is ceased, upadana is ceased. When upadana is ceased, bhava is ceased. When bhava is ceased, jati is ceased. When jati is ceased, jara marana is ceased, and then followed by soka parideva dukkha domanasu payasa. Enevametassa kevalasa dukkakhandasa nirodho hoti. So this is the patilomanaya. It is the reverse order. So out of these two, actually reverse order is said to be much more powerful. In the second watch of the night, the Buddha was contemplating on this reverse order, paticca samuppada. And then in the third watch of the night, Buddha was contemplating on both Anuloma and Patiloma Naya. So in this way, Paticca Samuppada was reflected by the Buddha in three different ways. So there are many wonderful teachings about this in the entire Tipitaka. So many suttas, hundreds of suttas are talking about this wonderful practice. So this theory of Paticca Samuppada is only available in the Buddha's Dhamma. It is also really important. And also I would like to say there are quite a number of suttas that you can have a look. Paticca Samuppada Sutta, Paticca Samuppada Vibhanga Sutta, as we learn here, even the Kachana Gutta Sutta, and then so many other suttas are there for you to have a look. And also, if you want to have a good, simple look at this sutta, there is a 12-page article by Ajahn Brahm, some remarks on Paticca Samuppada, Dependent Origination. That is, I think, available in Sutta Central, I think. And then if you are also interested in Paticca Samuppada Vibhanga Sutta, there is a good article by P.R. Tan. He is also one of the very famous teachers, a former monk who has published so many articles on Buddhism. If you are interested in following the Dhamma, if you are a Sri Lankan person, I recommend this Samasta Situama, 32 Dhamma talks by Venerable Bhante Koswatte Arya Vimala. it is available in internet. Unfortunately, it is in Sinhala, but this is a really important 32 Dhamma talk series. I listen to all these. I watch this Dhamma talk. Rather, I listen to that. But if you really want to do this, he did it over a week or so. Every morning, evening, he did it in Buddha Gaya under the Bodhi tree. He did this wonderful Dhamma talk series about the entire Samasta Situama means entire picture, overall picture. And if you want to watch this, maybe you don't do it like when you are busy. If you have time, take a pen and paper or book, then you do it like a meditation, write down all the important points, and that way maybe you can finish off 32 Dhamma talk series. And he was actually inspired by none other than Bhante Katukurunde Jnanananda Thera. So I think here you are, for those people who are into English, the law of dependent arising by Bhante Katukurunde Jnanananda Thera. He was one of the most profound Dhamma teachers in the recent past. I would like to say his Dhamma teachings are really, really very powerful. His understanding. He has written so many wonderful books in Sinhala, but some of them have also been translated into English. I saw actually in seen through the net .net. We have a number of books written. It's actually his Dhamma talks. He has given again 33 Dhamma talks on the Dhamma. He was giving this series of Dhamma talks to meditating monks. And on the basis of that, he also has again, some people have asked, invited the Bhante to give a series of Dhamma talks on dependent origination. So he gave another series of Dhamma talks, and here we have this Dhamma talks. One is actually a library edition, and then there are four volumes of the series of Dhamma talks, as we find the law of dependent arising. Bhante also has some books on Nibbana, the mind set still. Again, there are two parts of it, and then Nibbana, another volume. Nibbana, the mind still, the Nibbana, quite a number of volumes are there. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 volumes are there on Nibbana. And then other books are also very important English books. I think if you are interested in, I think this is another book on Deutsch, that is German, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he also has some German translation. And there is another monk, he also recently passed away. This Bhante, he passed away recently, just maybe a couple of years ago. And there is another monk whom we actually have been inspired by his teaching a lot too, and that is called Bhante. His name is Bhante Rerukane Chandavimala Nayaka Thero, and he has written so many books again on Buddhism. And most of the Sri Lankan monks, I would say, they have been inspired by his teaching. So they have read his teaching. We have Bauddhya Atpata, Manual of Buddhist. So every Buddhist has that one. And then so many Sinhala books, actually, they are all Sinhala. And I also saw a book on Paticca Samuppada, and his amazing, profound Dhamma knowledge has inspired many Sri Lankan monks. again, only Sinhala it is available, unfortunately. Hopefully, yeah, we should be able to, somewhere, we should be able to translate this one. I would like to share this one. Maybe I can share this one in the group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me see. What is inside? So if I
If you put it in the comments, Bhante, I can highlight it.
you can find it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over here, can you see?
So if you put it in the comments.
Okay. Okay. Can you see? Yeah, that is the Dhamma Talk series by Bhante Sumitta, and this is the one which can be very useful for the people in English if you want to read. And I also would like to share this short article by Ajahn Brahm. This also can be very helpful to you. And this is another one by Pia Tan. Yeah. So today we actually will have only an overall picture of the sutta, and tonight we will have a little bit more about this sutta. Yes, and also about Bhante Rerukani Arya Vimala Nayaka Theros books are available here. And then I think Bhante Katukurunde Jnanananda Theros books are also here. Some of the other books. Yeah, these are some of the books that can be very helpful. The topic that I selected was this Paticca Samuppada Sutta. Yeah, I hope this is already a lot of information for you to have some idea. Okay. So Paticca Samuppada, dependent origination, as I mentioned, how important it is for us to know in detail. It's a sutta. It's a book. Actually, it's not possible to know the whole thing in its entirety in such a short version, but at least to have a good look at this. This will be very helpful to all of us eventually. So in Bhante Katukurunde Jnanananda's book introduction, he says, the Buddha soon after his enlightenment reflected on the depth of the Dhamma he had realized. He saw 2 points in this Dhamma that transcends logic, that is Atakkavachara, which it is difficult for the worldlings immersed in defilements to see. One is the law of dependent arising or conditionality, Paticca Samuppada or Idappaccheta. The other is Nibbana, the stilling of the preparations, Sabba Sankhara Samatha. So, because of our defilements, we are so much immersed in the defilements, so we can't see the reality here, Paticca Samuppada. Every single link of these 12 links, and they can be also analyzed in the Chatu, what do you call, Chatu Arya Satya way, like Four Noble Truths way. That again is very unique. And owing to the very profundity of the law of dependent arising, hardly a century after the passing away of the Buddha, a number of Buddhist sects that sprang up offered a wide variety of interpretations of this central philosophy. We see already this schism of the Sangha, and this debate of the teachings already sprang up, both as a term and as a philosophy. Paticca Samuppada happened to be a stranger to the contemporary religious environment. The outcome of these philosophical attempts to get familiar with this stranger was a miscellany of treatises offering conflicting views. Each Buddhist sect had its own interpretation of Paticca Samuppada. This makes it all the more difficult to ascertain the exact significance of the term that accords the Buddha's with the Buddha's teaching. So we already can feel that it is so different. So Venerable Katukurunde Jnanananda also had done, as I mentioned, 33 sermons, and then he started giving this Dhamma talk series on Paticca Samuppada. And at the beginning of the book, he gives um, 3 stanzas. Actually, they are from Udana. And Yada have patu bhavanti dhamma atapino jayato brahmanasa athassa kankha vapayanti sabba yato pajanati sahetu dhamma. So, and the other one, Yada have patu bhavanti dhamma atapino jayato brahmanasa athassa kankha vapayanti sabba yato khayang pachayanang avedi. The third one, Yada have patu bhavanti dhamma atapino jayato brahmanasa vidhupayang titthati marasenang suryova obhasaya manta lekhang. So these 3 stanzas, if you heard, like they look all the same, right? They are not same in the last line of the stanza. Then we see that difference. So as I mentioned, the Buddha was reflecting on the first watch of the night, the ascending order, and then the reverse order in the second watch of the night, and then the both ascending and descending order in the third watch of the night. Anuloma Patiloma Naya, he was reflecting. These 3 stanzas actually reflect that side of the Paticca Samuppada. When phenomena manifest themselves to the ardently meditating Brahmin, then all his doubts get dispelled. So, if someone who is meditating, Brahmin here is actually the Arahanta person or the practicing monk. So when he practices ardently, meditating ardently, phenomena manifest themselves, then all his doubts get dispelled. So it is said, like when you become Sotapanna, you get the doubts dispelled, right? Sakkaya Ditthi Vicikiccha is the doubt. So that doubt is important to be dispelled. And then there are many different kinds of doubts explained in the suttas. In the Sabbasava Sutta, we have 16 kinds of doubts. And also when we talk about the doubts, mostly there are 8 kinds of doubts, and so these doubts Sotapanna. And also in Digha Nikaya there is another sutta, I think it is Brahmajala Sutta, and there are 62 heretic views. We get all kinds of confusions, all kinds of misconceptions. And those days in the Buddha's time, a lot of people, they were following so many different views, ideologies. So those, because of that doubt, we do all these things. So it is said, when you have this phenomena, the paticca samuppada, since he knows the causal law, causal law is dependent arising or dependent origination or paticca samuppada. When you know the paticca samuppada, all your doubts will be cleared, all the problems will be cleared. So many of us have this problem because we don't really know the depth of it. We don't really know exactly the comprehensive order of this paticca samuppada. And so that causal law is important to understand here. And then in the second stanza it is said, when phenomena manifest themselves to the ardently meditating Brahmin, then all his doubts get spelled, since he knows the extinction of conditions. So the first one is he knows the causal law, that is the ascending order paticca samuppada. Since he knows the extinction of conditions, that is the descending order, the reverse of the cessation. With the cessation of avidya, the sankhara will be ceased. So that way the extinction of conditions are talked about here, and that is the second way. When phenomena manifest themselves to the ardently meditating Brahmins, dispelling huts of Mara he stands, like the sun illuminating the firmament. So antalikang means Suryova obhasaya mantalikang. That is, the sun illuminates the entire sky. Just like that, the monk who vidhupayang tithati marasenang, the monk who dispels the hosts of Mara, he stands like the sun who illuminates the sky. So that means when you understand the causal law, when you understand the paticca samuppada, you can get rid of all the defilements, all the sansaric misery. You can decode this labyrinth, this whirlpool of samsara. This is about the paticca samuppada for now. And maybe I would like to mention that little two lines that Venerable Sariputta attained Sotapanna, right? And if you, maybe you just think of it today until we listen to the evening Dhamma talk, maybe you will also have some understanding what is that. So imasming sati idang hoti, imasa upada idang upajjati. When this being, this comes to be, with the arising of this arising. So that is the other thing. And then this being, this comes to be, this arising, with the arising of this arises. And let us also think, we can also apply these things to the entire paticca samuppada. And I think the one I was searching is still not. That is yada have patu bhavanti dhamma. Okay. So this being, this comes to be, with the arising of this arises. This not being, this does not come to be, with the cessation of this ceases. This is the summary of the paticca samuppada. So with this being said, I would like to stop here for today, for now, and we will see you again in the evening.
Hannamayam Nammakataya Sadhukaram Nadamase Sadhu 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 Anumodami. Thank you so much, Bhante, for sharing those words of Dhamma. And thank you for our friends for joining in. Good to see you, Poonam, Anita, Lochana, Geeta, Jayanta. Good to see you, Shipul, Amaranta, Kumu, Sam, Angela, recent resident, Chantia, Casey, Karam, lots of friends who are checking in and saying hello. We don't have questions yet online, but maybe our
later
alive in the room residents.
So Bhante, I'd like to see if my basic overview of Paticca Samuppada is correct.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of as I understand it at a very broad level, when we break up the world into discrete objects, and when we break up the world into self and things that are not self, then this is where dukkha arises, and this is dependent origination. Is this correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the Kaccanagutta Sutta also you can see that very same thing, right? So some people without understanding this, they think like there is a body and there is a being. So I think this is me, I, me, myself. We have that because we don't have the realization of Paticca Samuppada. So we think this is me. And because I have that thing, then I start grasping things, and then I creating, fabricating, and then I creating karma, generating karma, and then I continuously go along this samsara. That one. And then some people thought this life like exists, and some people said after this there is no more life again, right? So life after. So this is Sasatavada and Uchetavada, what we call eternalism and nihilism. That also came into being because they don't understand the Paticca Samuppada. So the Buddha says here, Dvaya nisthito khvayam kacchana loke ye buyema attitancheva nattitanche. Most of this world relies on a duality, existence and non-existence. So those people who accurately and wisely sees the arising of the world does not believe in non-existence. You see that the world is still there, but not the being. And one who accurately and wisely sees the cessation of the world does not believe in existence. And then Buddha talks about the Paticca Samuppada, how we are actually grasping things, and then we have also this Sakkaya Ditthi, self-identification, this view that I, me, myself. And because of that, all the other problems start to occur in this world for us. And the one who sees this thing will be able to see the Paticca Samuppada, and then ascending and descending order, really important to see both, and in both ways too, ascending and descending, and both ascending and descending. Like realizing that will be just the rough idea of overall picture of the Paticca Samuppada.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Actually, Chitta, Chesika, and Rupa, these are unconditional. Sorry, these are conditional. And Nibbana is unconditional. So, like the first three are definitely non-self, impermanence, and then suffering, and then non-self. But fourth is part of Dhamma, not Sankhara. Nibbana is still part of Dhamma. So, how basically then is it really self or not self? And the fourth point, the Nibbana.
Yeah, Nibbana is Nibbana. If you say Bana is the craving or the attachment or all forms of desires. means negation or the absence. So Nibbana means the complete absence of attachment or desires. And Nibbana is also explained as asankata, unconditioned. So it is not comparable with those worldly other things. That so we can say there is like self, or like when you attain the Nibbana, you will be born in another realm, or you will go to another paradise or island, or something, a fantasy land, or something is not happening like that when you attain the Nibbana. Nibbana is right here within us, and then that is the complete absence of desires, all attachments, all cravings. We can see, do we have it? How many things we are attached to, how many things we desire, right? How many things we can get rid of them, how many things we can give up. Can we give up everything we have? No, we still have. Maybe we can give many material things, but can we like not being hurt if someone humiliates us? Can we still feel okay, I'm okay, I don't feel anything? Like, can we feel so unshaken? Not. So that thadi, that equanimity, still not there in us. So we still have many layers and layers and layers of defilements. So Nibbana cannot be actually defined in even mundane worldly conditions and things.
Like you said, it's already there in us, but we are having a lot of layers of defilements on the top. Unless we remove them, we cannot see that or feel that.
Yes, yes. So the Nibbana is not outside. That peace, that happiness, that absolute peace and happiness is not something that we can find outside. Like now we have so many advanced technology where we can go anywhere, but you can go to Nibbana using any of these voyages. It is the internal journey. It is that internal exploration. That is why it is called insight meditation. You have to look within. Like when Venerable Moggallana was trying to see the end of the world, because he was very powerful monk, right? He was among the foremost among all the other monks who were good in mystic powers. And he wanted to see the end of the world. So he started going from one galaxy to another. And then Buddha, it is said, Buddha created a magical hand and he pulled him back. Don't do that. You can't do this. You can't do this till the end of the world. I mean, till the end of your life, you won't be able to do that. So it is a useless thing. Look into yourself. The world is within us, because it is the same four elements that we have, right? The four elements, what we call Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. The earth, the fire, the water, and the air. Those elements are everywhere. Whether you go to the Mars or moon or sun or whatever, you have those things everywhere. So the same thing, our body consists of. This is amazingly powerful, remarkable teaching by the Buddha. So the people who were missed and who were lost in their way, they could find so much peace, happiness, benefit when you look into yourself. You have it within you. Why do we look for happiness outside? Many people like to see, like go for a movie, something, or go for a picnic, you go to a park to find peace, happiness. You go there and come back with more stress, maybe just a temporary kind of happiness. When you come back, all the worldly things, all the sufferings, they will come more. Maybe you couldn't do some homework, and you because you went to the park, you couldn't do so many things at home, then you still feel more frustrated. So the Buddha said the internal mess we have to clear, layers of layers, layers and layers of this thing, defilement. I have been translating the Araha concept of Mahanidesa Pali. I have done almost 2/3 of the translation already regarding this. I found so many wonderful teachings of the Arahanta concept. Really, really very inspiring how the person who is Arahanta and how they behave, what kind of defilements do we have. It's just very important, I think, to know these little things that we have. That ignorance, for example, avidya and tanha, the craving. Those two things are really, really difficult to get rid of. Yeah. So we have to work on that. One way of doing it, I think, maybe work with the food. Craving for food, right? So it is very, very helpful if we practice maybe like fasting sometime, skipping the dinner maybe, or skipping some food. And also maybe you have so much good food and you see that and you don't eat it. That way you try to get rid of that craving. Yeah, that is one way of practicing yourself to get rid of the craving. And also I would like to say the practice of minimalism. Have you heard of minimalism? That's amazing too. Like you don't need so many things, just simple minimal requirements for life would be good enough for you. If you practice, then it is easier for you to actually come closer, one step closer to the Nibbana. If you go after this materialistic these all capitalistic prosperities and all desires, it will be endless. You will die, those things will still be there. You will even at the deathbed, you will be thinking, I couldn't achieve this, I couldn't achieve this. But if you try to get rid of many of those stuff that you have, so many shoes, so many clothes, you will see how many we have. It is like I know, like we have been living as students. I notice like when we stay in the dorm, maybe just 1 year or maybe several semesters, right? So after those semesters are done, you have to move out, and then you will see so much stuff, already there, sankhara. So much sankhara already there, too many bags, right? When you have too many bags, it's difficult to carry, it's difficult to travel. So like the bird, the arahanta person, the liberated person is compared to the bird. The bird has just the wings and nothing else. Sapatta bharo pakhi sakuno, it is said. So he has the weight of the wings only. And no matter what, like he makes so much effort to create a nest. Do you know how difficult it is for that small beak? What do you call it? Beak? Yeah. So he goes here and there, finds those small wood and all the twigs and everything. He creates a beautiful, decorated, wonderful nest, and then he lays eggs there, right? And then small birds coming up. He even doesn't want to follow with it. He leaves everything. Once it is done, he goes. He will not come back to. Just like that, the Arahanta person, he's such a minimalist person. I think the monks also have those 4 requisites. It said, Chivara Pindapata Senasana Gilana Pache. Just the minimum requirements for life can be one way of, I think, getting closer to the Nibbana. Yeah, that's important. Practicing minimalism, practicing controlling your food, craving for food can be a practical way to practice the spiritual path to Nibbana.
Thank you, Bhante. And we actually have 3 online questions. So Sam asks, Bhante, can we work on only one link, and when one link is seized, the whole link seized, or we have to work on every link?
Yes, you can start avijja then. Yeah, as I said, maybe avijja is very difficult. Avijja, if we start, it will be difficult. Can we start with birth? Do you know jati? Do you remember jati? You cannot, right? I mean, do you remember jati? Do you remember when you were born? You don't. Do you know when you die? You don't have those. I mean, we were born, yes, but we don't remember. None of us. Except maybe the Jati Sotapanna or like the Bodhisattva, they could probably remember. But even the death, we don't remember. Yes, the Arahanta person would remember that. Even the last birth, he or she would remember. But we don't have that experience. But we have that experience in our day-to-day life. For example, morning we wake up, that is like birth, right? And evening we sleep, that is like death. So evening, night time, like in between the death and the wake up, it is like our the other world, and that. And then again we see the sun rising and sun setting. Those are some of those lessons that we learn. And then we see the flowers blooming and fading away. Another way to understand the birth and the cessation. And then again, even the breathing in and breathing out, right? Breathing in, what happens to that? We breathe in and it goes, that evaporates. And you breathe out, that evaporates. So we can see, we can feel with our yoniso manasikara, with that strong, powerful attention, alertness, mindfulness, we can still feel that death, birth and death. And one of the easiest way is eye, winking of the eye. So when you open your eyes, it is like you are born. You are born. You close your eyes, you don't see anything. It is like you are dead. So birth and death, birth and death. See, you can see, you can even realize the true Dhamma, every sense, if we are very mindful about that. So this yoniso manasikara is really important. And that is why I said there to the question, Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so the question maybe start with craving. Start working on your craving, right? One most important thing out of those 12 links is avijja, which is really difficult to work on. But as long as you are so mindful, it is still possible. But working on craving, I think is possible. Like I said, try to be minimalist and try to control your cravings. Let's say like I am vegetarian, if I say, like then do I have not craving for food? Yeah, I don't care about the non-veg, yes. But what about those other stuff like chocolate or ice cream or some other like Sri Lankan food? Can we control them too? I have the Sri Lankan food dishes everywhere, and I'm also very hungry. Can I still can I still try to control? Yes, if I can, there is a chance, right? So we have to work on a practical way, I think, to control our own craving. Some of the desires that we have, let's say you are not into social media, okay, but how about you are watching TV then? You like so some TV programs so much, can you not watch those things? Yeah, so try to work on that. And some of the clothes, maybe some of the maybe some of your favorite things, favorite things. You just imagine that you have some favorite things in your life. Can you not do it? Can you control them? Then it makes sense. So for food, like for example, whether you are vegetarian or not, can you control your food? You have those foods right in front of you. Can you not still eat? I like the practice here in Empty Cloud. We have the food everywhere. But if someone doesn't offer us, we don't eat. That's amazing. That's really, really amazing. I feel really good to see that. So sometimes we don't eat, and somebody has to offer us. And luckily these days we have Kyle and Minnie, and so they can offer some food to us. But if somebody is not there, someone has to come from outside to offer the food. And that way we have the opportunity to practice. Yeah, so start with that, I think would be a great idea.
Great, thank you, Bhante. And actually, Geeta, since we're out of time, I will ask your questions in the second episode of the series with Bhante Sumitta, which will happen tomorrow morning, same time, same place, 8 a.m. Not this evening. This evening there is Ajahn Punadhammo,
Okay.
who is giving the second part of his also Paticca Samuppada.
Okay.
But tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m. We will be again with you, Bhante Sumitta. And you can bring all your questions tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening, as well as obviously tonight to Ajahn Punadhammo. So I think Ajahn Punadhammo will be focusing on a particular aspect of the links tonight, this evening. So we will find out then. All right. So passing on to Bhante to end.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining us today with this important Dhamma Talk series. And yes, the topic is profound. We will have so many questions. I might not be still able to give you the perfectly satisfactory answer. I would love to, though. Yeah, we all have to, I think, try to attain the Sotapanna at least. That should be the most important goal of all of us. Attain Sotapanna at least. That will only be the way to come out of this suffering, and that will be the only way to get out of the to be born in the hell realm. We won't be born in the hell realm if we become Sotapanna. So with that, we conclude. Thank you, everyone. You listened to Dhamma. You had some good intentions, good thoughts, your good energy. You wanted to learn the Dhamma. You wanted to practice the Dhamma. Hopefully, some of these words could be helpful to all of you, and maybe these things will inspire you for the rest of your life. And by the power of the merits that we accrued today, and also during the course of our life and during the whole course of our samsara, we have accrued so much merit. Dana Sila Bhavana, we have done so much. We have listened to so many Dhamma talk, so we generated some good karma. By the power of that, may you all be well, happy, healthy, safe wherever you are. May all the monastic community of all of you, and all the devotees of your temples, and also your family members, your grandparents, your parents, your spouse, your children, your siblings, and all the family members, all the friends, relatives, all the teachers and elders, everyone in your community, and everyone in the world. May they all be well, happy, healthy, safe wherever they are. May the Buddha Dhamma Sangha bless you, help you, protect you, and guide you towards the right path. May all the Devas, Brahmas, and all the wonderful Kalyana Mitra friends bless you, help you, protect you, and guide you towards the right path. May all your departed ones share this merit, receive this merit, be well, happy, healthy, safe wherever they are. May all Brahmas, Devas and all the other sentient beings receive this merit, share this merit, be well, happy, healthy, safe wherever they are. May all of us be able to live our life peacefully, comfortably and with good health. May all of us and all of them be able to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana, the absolute peace and happiness at the end of our samsara. Thinking thus, please say, Sadhu,
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 Sadhu.
Abhivadana silissa niccang vaddhapachayino Chattaro dhamma vaddhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang Ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha Ato nibbana sampatti iminate samijjhatu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.